Great. Well, thanks, Dean. If you can, please email me the link. That way, I'll make sure I put it on my blog post. And again, what I've been doing with these webinars is being able to recap the audio. So the entire 60 minutes will be available on iTunes for you to download to listen to. While you're driving, showing or on your way to meet a client. Not necessarily while you're with the client, but the whole goal here is to provide education both here live like we are through the webinar, and then also to where you can actually go through step by step through some of these activities. So again, thanks for being on the call. This is Doug Devitre. We're going to talk about some ways to take, let me go back here, ways to take your message, whatever the message it is, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're a broker, whether you work for a realtor association. We're going to try and do is take your message and make it go viral through the use of video. And, in my opinion, I think video is really taking form of communication. Not necessarily people want to read text on a screen, but they rather watch a nice video of maybe somebody talking, explaining a concept. And there's kind of creative ways or out-of-the-box thinking that you can use video in your real estate business. As far as the hour goes down, I'm probably going to spend about 45 minutes running through my PowerPoint, and then also some of the screens to show you actually live what it looks like on the computer screen. And we're going to talk about different types of video and some examples and then some tools that you'll be able to use step by step. In addition to that, to produce video, you'll need hardware and software. And based on my experience, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on the hardware or software in order to produce videos for the message that people are looking for. And then finally, what we'll talk about are some different video hosting sites to use to deliver live versus asynchronous videos. And essentially, live is anything that, it's just like attending a workshop live or a seminar live or a training live. Whereas in the education business, they talk about asynchronous or asynchronous learning, which is essentially watching YouTube videos or learning in your jammies. And essentially, this is a key concept you may want to mark down if you have a pen and paper handy. I highly suggest you write down a new concept called education-based marketing. So education-based marketing, what is that? How can you, position your expertise and deliver value, explaining on necessarily how the concepts work, as opposed to maybe why you're the best agent for the position. So it's kind of a whole new paradigm shift on helping the consumer, providing value, and then if they see enough value based on how you deliver your message, then you will no doubt be the expert that they select. So as far as some three-dimensional ideas, it's kind of taken outside the box of what typically a real estate professional would use. I have some examples here: online home buyer seminars, live streaming updates, and then another thing called virtual open houses. And what I think you'll find within using video is the fact that you have both the video camera and you also have the audio tied into it. And essentially, doing it the first couple times, you're going to make some mistakes, and that's okay, because there's an additional component in the fact that you're actually recording whatever it is live. It's important to be cognizant of the different surroundings that you're with. So I think it's important here to know that if you're connecting your computer with additional video camera piece, there's all these different things that have to take place, and maybe it's a matter of having somebody help you the first time, maybe a high school student or a college student that knows how to plug and play and work these options. That may be a good way to start out. So as far as the first idea, online home buyer seminars, it kind of takes the paradigm versus having home buyer seminars live, to where you have to rent out a room and you have to get refreshments and you have to print out all the handouts, because believe me, from when I did these before, a lot of time would be eaten up just on necessary producing these materials for people to be able to access. Whereas now we can take everything online. We can take the registration online. We can take our PowerPoint, share that online, because it's it's almost like a live type situation. We're encompassing the synchronous learning component. Digital handouts, surveys, all that can be available online. Now, I share this with you as far as a resource, and I also make it a part of my blog, as I wrote an article that got published in several state association magazines called Different Ways to Create Your Own Online Homebuyer Seminar, and essentially it's the step-by-step. That if you want to mark that website down now, or I'll be able to share it later, it really goes into detail. But if I can summarize it, if you're going to be able to set up the online registration for your home buyer seminar, I highly recommend that you do it using Google Docs. So everyone's familiar with Google. Google has an application called Google Docs that it will allow you to create some questions. Now, as far as the questions go that you could potentially have, let me see if I can pull up an example of a Google Doc. That way you can see some of the questions that are there. Now, if you open up Google Docs and create a form, you actually click New and then Form. So we're here on Google Docs. You choose New, Form. And then on new form, maybe you put here on the name of the form the registration. Here is your welcome message. And then here start to type in different types of questions. Now, different questions available are text, paragraph text, multiple choice, checkboxes. Now, I think it's a good idea to use a combination of questions to get, probably more importantly, first name, last name, email address, phone number, but then also probably type in some questions that really determine motivation. Am I looking to buy within the next 3 months, the next 6 months? I'm just curious. But just add in some other types of qualifying questions. That way you know who's going to be the person who you're going to maybe expect more questions from, or want to follow up with the quickest. So I wanted to share Google Docs as just kind of an example on how you can use that. So you use the Google Docs for the registration and then also for the surveys. Now, in order to have an online homebuyer seminar, you probably want to have some sort of PowerPoint presentation set up that either you can showcase live, or you'd be able to share following the presentation. And most of you already have Microsoft PowerPoint, or it's a $99 program. Here's a new tool for you that I found to be successful in delivering some type of synchronous learning. Is if you go to www.ustream.tv, what you can do is create your own television show for free. So you can create your own television show for free, and then make sure that when you create the television show, you're able to brand it to whatever your company name is, or yourself. And then what this allows you to do is, if you can hook up a webcam to your computer, essentially people can engage or watch whatever the update is that you're giving live, like at the same time. Now, I think what you'll find as far as with your experimentation with Ustream is that there's probably about a 2-second delay, and the reason for that is because when you're streaming video live, actually by transferring the data from the computer to the internet, and then also from the internet back to whoever's computer that is watching, just know that there's a little bit of time delay that you'll experience with that. And again, you'll find out if you start to experiment with this, you'll be able to figure out more creative ways. Now think about with your online home buyer seminar, you have all these different handouts. You have, let's say, your buyer agency agreement, or your presentation, or if somebody like Dean Hartman were to supply you with a loan application. Figure all these different types of documents can now be uploaded online, and once they're online, now you're able to share them with a much broader audience, as opposed to having to print out every one of these documents one by one.